Good morning, everyone. Welcome to our webinar this morning. We are going to talk about Social Security claiming. Dave Pimper, the coach, president of Lazarus Coaching, he is going to walk us through the ins and outs of Social Security claiming, give us probably the top 4 or 5 things that we need to know about Social Security claiming that can help us when we're dealing with our clients. Make an offer to, of course, get you fully up to speed on Social Security claiming and how you can do that. And then we'll also talk about some ways you can use that expertise with your current clientele, obviously, and help grow your clientele. So full webinar here this morning with Coach Dave Pimper. As we get started, I'll mention a couple things. If you have any questions, go ahead and type them in. We'll try and get them answered as quickly as possible. A lot of folks have very specific questions that are best answered one-on-one, and Dave is very happy to do that. If that's the case, if you have some questions of that nature, I would ask that you go ahead and we'll have a poll later. You just click yes, and we'll set you up with a time to speak with Dave. So get buckled in and we'll go ahead and get started here. As I mentioned, my name is Steve Murray, one of the owners here at Insurance Agency Marketing Services, and I get the good pleasure of joining Dave for a lot of sales-based, skills-based webinars that he does on Tuesdays and sometimes on Fridays. So always enjoy catching up with you all. I know we've got a number of folks that have recently just joined IAMS and maybe are still in their first 180 days. For those of you, this slide is for you. As you can see, we do a little bit of a kind of a incentivized first 180 days where we put our marketing reimbursement program really on super steroids. So there's a lot of opportunities for you to claim various things. What I would say is you can see a little bit of what the dollar values of some of those may be. If you're doing something on your own that you would like us to contribute towards on the same basis, we would do that. If there's something you want to try that's outside of these things, we're glad to do that as well. That would be a conversation with your sales director and myself. But you can see before you, there's a lot of great things from cash to a lot of ways to add to your sales that you can take advantage of. So hopefully you'll take advantage of that during your first 180 days. A couple things that are ongoing that you need to be aware of, and one of the ways that we send out the most, some of the biggest checks that we do is through our RPM program. It's referred producer money. That's the first one pictured there. And basically, it's a pretty simple thing. When you refer someone to us and they get appointed, we'll send you a small check, but then you're going to earn a bonus based on their business for as long as they're with us. And the key there, from your standpoint, is nothing comes out of your referrals pocket. It all is handled just as a bonus from IAMS to you. We take it out of our advertising budget actually to pay the money to you. So anything that you have available, they get available to them as well. And from your standpoint, it's nice to know that at the end of each quarter, it's kind of like a way to agency build without having all the hassles and trouble of an agency. You don't have to worry about chargebacks from someone else and worried about what's going on with them. It's just a way to kind of refer some folks into the system here at IAMS. That's been the biggest way that we've grown our business over the past 35, 36 years now as referrees. We appreciate those. We put a lot of value to them and we want to say thank you every day for your referrals, but also want to make sure that there's some financial reward in that for you as well. So if you have referred somebody, watch for your checks. If you have not yet, hopefully you'll take advantage of that by having a conversation with your sales director. We put them in the system as your referral, and then as they do business, it automatically gets coded over to you. Marketing reimbursement, a pretty simple program. Marketing reimbursement, when you put money into or when you put business in with IAMS, any business, we put money into your marketing reimbursement account. When you spend money to grow your business, and we will match that spending and kind of double the power of your marketing dollars. So a great couple programs to take advantage of there. Many of you are now doing e-apps. Over half of you do your annuities now via e-app, which is a nice feature for you. We saw a major increase in that during the pandemic for obvious reasons, but even as the ability to sit across from your client has kind of come back, we have still seen most of the folks that took advantage of e-apps continue to take advantage of it, and I think that's appropriate. I know why people do it. You know, you've always got the right paperwork. You can do it. It's a pretty professional look when you can sit down, even if you're sitting with your client, and go through it and do it online and say, okay, you're going to receive a quick email, or if you want, we can do a signature right here, and you get a really professional look. You know, you've got the right form, so you're not have to go back on that. You know, you're going to have most of the information in the system that you need, and so that's great as well. You don't have to worry about going back and filling things in. We can still do the review process. Those of you that work through broker dealers, that works as well because the app automatically goes through them for their compliance review as well. It's a really smooth, slick system that I hope many of you are taking advantage of. For those of you that are not, give your sales director a call because you can go on our Firelight. We call it a single sign-on situation. You can go on the Firelight and all the companies, if you're doing it on our website, all the companies are right there for you. So you don't have to go between 5 different websites. If you're doing business with 4 or 5 different carriers, you can do it all through the IAMS website. So hopefully you'll take advantage of that if you're not already. Just call your sales director and say, hey, I want to get set up on the Firelight single sign-on or the e-app, your e-app single sign-on on your website, and they'll work with you and get that done. Very, very easy process. Wanted to make sure that you're all aware of the Top Producer Summit. It's a great opportunity for you to get out of the country in a very controlled environment of a cruise and see some of the world with you and your guest. We're going to start in Rome, and we're going to go down the Italian coast and then come back through Greece, Montenegro, and Croatia, and end up back in Venice, Italy. It's about an 8-day cruise. We're going to put everybody up on the concierge level, which means that everyone's going to have a balcony, which is going to be nice because you're going to be, a lot of the times, you can have some coastline on both sides of you to wander past. It's just nice to have a balcony anyway, but it's nice when you've got some coastline that you're going past. We'll be going by the coastlines of Italy, Sicily, coming back, as I mentioned, up by Greece, Montenegro, a couple days along the Croatian coast, and then stopping, finishing our cruise in Venice, Italy. So you're going to see some great stuff, great landscape, and you're going to do it in a lap of luxury. It's the Oceania cruise. If you know anything about cruises, you know they're one of the top 10 in terms of luxury, and we're going to put you up in the most luxurious way possible at the Oceania cruise on the concierge level. I was recently looking at that myself, and some of the benefits of being on the concierge level, besides having 24/7 access to all the food and drink that you want and all the services that you need, is you get an early check-in, which is nice. So you get to kind of beat the rush onto the boat, which is a nice thing to do. You get pressing of all of your garments and shining and laundry and everything that you need. So kind of maybe cuts down a little bit on the stuff that you need to bring, which is nice, and it gets you on the boat a little bit sooner so you can relax with your guest and take it easy. So hopefully you'll look forward to enjoying that. It takes 4.5 million points to qualify. That's 1 for 1 on annuity, about 12 for 1 on target premium, about 1.5 to 1 on single premium. So and you've got plenty of time yet to qualify. We've got through June of 2022 to qualify. So even if you're just getting started with us right now, that's not beyond the realm of possibility. It's very qualifiable level. So we'd love to have you and your guests join us on that cruise. We're going to set sail in late August, and we will come back over Labor Day weekend of 2022. So wanted to make sure that if you had any questions about that, I'm going to just in a second here chat over to you my email. You can certainly any questions that you have, you can certainly have the opportunity to ask those. And I'm going to turn it over right now to Dave Pimper. But before I do, I want to give you some background on Dave. Dave has been in the business since the early 80s. He does both insurance, annuities, and securities, and has been doing that for years and years. He's got about 530 seminars under his belt. He's very familiar with radio. He's had about 25 years of experience in radio. About 3 years ago, Dave came to me and he was going to do a radio show, and he thought it might be beneficial to the group. So he built Retirement Boss Radio. We worked together on that. He's built a really solid opportunity for our producers that, of course, was extremely well timed. There's a lot of people looking for financial advice and not being able to get it very easily. In the other ways, there's his lead generation on radio. Dave's lead generation on radio has just been phenomenal over the past couple of years. So now let's tune in and hear what Dave has to tell us a little bit about Social Security claiming and how that has been a big part of building his practice over the last 12 or 15 years. Dave, are you with us?
Steve, that's impressive. So
Hey, I
it's
told
only
you
it's
I
only
wanted to get.
10 after the hour. Wonderful. I appreciate the kindness that you said. When you've been around forever and you're a really old guy, it's just hard to be mean to them. You got to be kind to
Oh no.
them. Hey, thank you everybody for being on the webinar today. We got a good showing. I mean, we got a lot of folks want to know about Social Security, how it can make you money. That's why a lot of advisors don't show Social Security. They can't figure out how can it make us money. And I'll tell you right now, the way that we go in and we do kind of our fact finding, and you need to know of when the right time to claim is. You need to know what their income streams are, like wages and pensions. You need to know of what those investable assets are that maybe they could pull from them and let their Social Security grow. You need to know of what your required minimum distributions are for an income stream once you're 72, and then how Social Security complements all that. Those are the 5 pillars of income. So we've got it's 10 after the hour, so we're going to be done at 20 till the hour. So if this is going to be 30 minutes. So Steve, just to let you know, at 20 till, you'll be coming on board answering any questions that we have from the. We'll have some questions too because we got a ton of folks this morning that are on board with this. And feel free to ask the question. We may answer those as we go along, but probably we'll answer them at the end. Yeah, my name is Dave Pimper. I have a coaching firm called Lazarus Coaching. I'm also an investment advisor rep, and I do my share of guarantees all through IAMS. I have 16 years now through IAM since like 2005. My fixed index business, my IUL business, any kind of other fixed business goes through IAMS, and I coach for them. And I'm a production coach. And one of the things that you want to know is that it's how many people you get in front of. My son right now, we have a Medicare shop also, and he's in the middle of AEP. Steve, I don't know if you're still on the line or not, but pretty exciting.
Yep.
He had, yeah, he had three sales, 3 apps yesterday, and that's a big day to have
That's a
that in
good
one
day.
day.
Mm-hmm.
Back to back to back, and it's from the marketing that we do. So what happens is I'm a big believer of trying to get good marketing, have good appointments, what leads to good production. So let's talk about Social Security. I've really only understood Social Security for the last 11 years. I've been in the business for 40 plus years now. But get a load of this, which I think is amazing. Most retirees get little advisor help on Social Security claiming. A majority of older Americans get no professional advice about a key part of retirement planning, Social Security. Listen closely. Even if they work with a financial advisor, a recent study concluded. I got a meeting today with a guy that called in from radio last week. Steve called in from Retirement Boss Radio, which I'm on every week. It's a radio show we co-host it. That's a turnkey system that we run all that marketing proprietary through Insurance Agency Marketing Services, IAMS. And like last week, I got 5 appointments from that last week. I got 5 appointments. I did 2 Social Security workshops. I got 11 appointments, and my son last week did a Medicare workshop, and he got 4 appointments. I would say that's a pretty good appointment week right there, boys and girls. That's what you'd like to be able to do, and it keeps your calendar just filled. I've got today blocked off, no more appointments. I got tomorrow blocked off, no more appointments. So what happens is that what we're trying to do here is we're trying to get in front of as many people. And Social Security, remember, 95% of all Americans have a Social Security benefit. They have that 40 quarterly hours in. And I'll tell you right now, I got a call, as I was saying, from Retirement Boss Radio, where this fella, in his email, he says, "Hey, I love what your insight is on Social Security." He said, "I'm in an unusual situation. I have all of my monies with my son, who is an Edward Jones broker. So I know I have no chance of doing business with him." He said, "How much could I pay you for an hour to talk to me about when I should take my Social Security?" And of course, I said, "You know what? I'll talk to you." And I wasn't going to do it in person, but I said, "I'll do it through a phone appointment. I'll give you all the information. I'm not looking for anything back." And I'll tell you what happens is You don't think that the guy doesn't have a chance to refer Social Security business? Why doesn't he go to his son? You know why? Because he knows nothing about Social Security claiming. People that are in that arena of pre-retired or just retired, those are the folks that I work with. That's 80% of my clientele that I work with, maybe even 85%. But most retirees get little advisor help on Social Security claiming. And if you have any questions, certainly type them in and we'll be more than happy to answer those. But we're going to take a test, and we're going to do this pretty darn quickly. It's by SimplyWise, which is an online kind of financial website of information. So only 1 in 300 seniors could ace this. I did. Let's see if you can. So really, take this test with me, okay? To maximize your monthly Social Security checks, at what age must you claim the benefit? To maximize your monthly Social Security checks, at what age must you claim benefits? We got 5 questions here. Let's go. 3, 2, 1. But write your answer down. If you put down full retirement age, you're wrong. It's age 70. That maximizes a single benefit. Now, if it is a divorced or survivor, coordinating restricted, it might be different, but for a single benefit, it is 70. Question 2, what's the earliest age you can receive survivor's benefits if you're not disabled? What's the earliest you can receive survivor's benefits if you're not disabled? Here we go. Write your answer down. Age 60. If you're not disabled, the answer actually is 50, though it takes a while to get on it once you turn 50, but that's when you can start, 50. But now it's 60. 60 age of only 9% of the people knew that. that was tested. Question 3. Does your spouse need to receive benefits for you to qualify for spousal benefits? Does your spouse need to receive benefits for you to qualify for spousal benefits? Yay or nay? Yes or no? Here we go. Yeah, they do. Question 4. Can divorced spouses receive a spousal benefit from their ex? Can divorced spouses receive a spousal benefit from their ex? Yes or no? Yeah. But 4 stipulations have to be met about that divorce. If you guess 2 of them or know 2 of them, I'll give this answer to you. So if you guessed yes, you got half right. What are 2 of the 4 stipulations? Write them down. 2 of 4 stipulations. Okay, here they are. Ready? First of all, the marriage had to last 10 consecutive years. Not interrupted, but consecutive. Secondly, you're currently unmarried. You could have got married after you're divorced, but you currently have to be unmarried now. The ex has to be at least 62, and the divorce had to be 2 years ago or longer. Those are the 4 things that have to line up to so the stars and moons have to line up. But if you got 2 of those 4 right, I'm going to give it to you. Last question, are you eligible for survivor's benefits if you're divorced? Are you eligible for survivor's benefits if you're divorced? Answer. Yes, if those 4 stipulations are met, which I just went through them. Marriage lasted 10 years, currently unmarried, ex at least 62. And the 4th one is that the divorce was 2 years ago or longer. Yeah. How'd you do on that? If you got all 5 right, good. You should be giving your own webinars. If you got 4, you're still pretty darn good. 3 and less, you know what? You probably need some help. Now, there's 3 ways that IAMS coaches you up. 3 ways Dave Pimper and IAMS, the FMO, coaches you up to learn Social Security. You can do it just a la carte. I don't want any marketing, Dave. I just want to learn Social Security. You pay me $800, and I tell you what, I will assure you that you'll know a heck of a lot more To do that, it does take some time on your part, about 3 to 4 hours a week of reading, books, attachments, etc. You need to do that for a couple, 3 or 4 weeks. So if you're not willing to, it isn't just that you're going to coach with me. You'll know more, but you won't learn everything you need to. With all those three, you're able to use me anytime you want to for Social Security questions down the road. Okay? As long as you're contracted with IAMS, you can use me. And people do almost every single day. Okay? Out of all the folks that I coach. Then there's Social Security workshops. And I'll tell you what, they're back in full bloom. We're doing a ton of them right now, and we're having very good success. We guarantee 35 registrants, and I got 11 appointments out of my last workshop, but I did 2 of them. Pretty darn good. 11 appointments. Anything above 10 above, I'm happy with. And then Retirement Boss Radio. That's being your own radio host, your own radio show. I coach you up in Social Security claiming workshops. I coach you up in Social Security claiming on the Retirement Boss Radio because about 30-35% of all of the business I do revolves around Social Security questions. I just can't tell you you know what? Everybody knows. I mean, every insurance agent that does annuities knows what fixed indexed is. They know what fixed are. They know life insurance. Investment guys know investments. But how many people understand Social Security? Dave Pimper does. If I'm competing against you and someone that's pre-retired or just retired, that means from 50 to 70. My perfect age is 63, 4, 5. That's the perfect age. You know what? I'm going to get that business because I'm going to bring up Social Security all day long. Yeah. Doing this one thing where your Social Security can mean losing $100,000 in retirement. $100,000 loss. This is word from Janet Herron in USA Today back about a couple of years ago from July the 1st of 2019. How much does claiming Social Security at the wrong time cost you? Retirees will lose an average, get a load of this, $111,000 in income per household over their lifetime. Why? Because they took Social Security benefits at the wrong time. Feast your ears on this. Overall, only 4% of retirees took Social Security at the financially optimal age. I want to read that again in a different way. Overall, 96% of retirees took Social Security at the wrong time to maximize their benefit. Unbelievable. Let's do a little stroll down memory lane. Started in 1935 by F.R. Franklin Delano Roosevelt. 65 was the only age you could take in the beginning. Average age of longevity in 1935 was 62 for the average American. Is that wild? Then in 61, under President Kennedy, lowered the age to 61. You could take at a reduced benefit. And then shortly after that, you could wait longer and get a bigger benefit. Wasn't taxed until 83, and then it was taxed a little more in 85 if you meet certain income tax brackets. Last major reform was the Bipartisan Budget Act 215. So in 216, they phased out, file, and suspend coordinating spousal benefits. And restricted is still around only if you are born January the 2nd of 1954 or earlier. Otherwise, not available. How important is Social Security? It's darn important. This is a survey of thousands of people. And they said that 59% of retirees count their Social Security benefits as a major source of income, if not the major source of income, over pensions and over personal savings and over retirement plans. Pretty wild. If you knew nothing going into today's webinar, wake up. Because this is the basics of Social Security claiming. There's 3 ages or dates that are important to Social Security claiming. There's something called full retirement age. And full retirement age is the age that you can take your benefit and get a full or normal benefit. It's somewhere between 66 and 67. You can take as early as 62, but your discount, depending on when you were born, it's going to be discounted anywhere from 25 to 30%. So if your full retirement benefit was 1,000 and you took early, you're going to only get 700 to 750 bucks. You get it now, but it's discounted. If you wait longer, it's guaranteed to grow. You get a bigger benefit. You have to take it 70 or you just lose the benefit. That's the basics of Social Security claiming 101. Can it have a huge value? Darn right Social Security can. But it says claiming at your right time. And I emphasize this. Not claiming at the right time, not claiming at a right time, but claiming at your right time. It's going to be different than the person sitting next to you. That's what I always say during the workshops. There's hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of different time periods and ways to claim your Social Security. We're going to find the best one that meets your needs. If you have any questions, type them in. The Social Security Fund, this needs to be an updated slide, but the Social Security Trust Fund, what happens is that as of 2020, it's still running it's still running positive, so it's still running it's not at a deficit, okay? So it has a little bit of money left over, a few $1 billion off of a $2.8 trillion trust fund. Next year or this year, 2021, it will probably start running a deficit, and then the trust fund's going to run out of money. It's going to run out of money. The Social Security trustees on this last report said it in the year of 2034. So if you're getting a $2,000 benefit, the trust fund runs out of money, how much do you think you'll get? A lot of people say nothing. It's deleted. Well, the trust fund is, but remember, this is a pay-as-you-go system. It's paid for by Social Security or payroll taxes. That's 6.2% you pay. That's 6.2% your employer pays. That 12.4%, you'd get about 70, give or take around 76% of your benefit. The trust fund is only used if it runs a shortfall, which it hasn't since '83, but probably will this year. There's different ways to shore up Social Security. Don't let anybody kid you that it's going bankrupt. It won't. Virtually almost 50% of all Americans would go in poverty row if it wasn't for Social Security. People don't save. This is a forced savings. It's a very good program. It's gone on for 85 years. Never there's been a delinquency. Yeah, 2.8 trillion in the trust fund. But they'll either tax or they'll change the ages to make it work. That'll happen in the next couple, 2-3 years. It's certainly, a political hot potato. So here's some facts about Social Security. It's a pay-as-you-go system. That payroll taxes, yeah. That's why if the trust fund goes bankrupt, Social Security doesn't go bankrupt. They're going to lose part of their money, but they don't go bankrupt. There's bonds that they buy. They're called special issue treasury bonds, and right away they sell those, turn it into cash and pay off some other kind of debt. They do that with the trust fund, but it's backed by the full faith and credit of the U.S. government, same that backs our dollar. Now, if the government gets in trouble, yeah, then I'm concerned about Social Security. But other than that, I'm not. It's not a Ponzi scheme. It's not. People are putting in to help pay the benefit. Now, through the boomer years, yeah, there's going to be a lot of money go out. And you're going to see that trust fund go down unless we make some changes. It'll probably be a combination of higher taxation and changing of some of the ages. So how do you figure out your Social Security benefit? Hey, and again, if you got any questions, type them in. I'll be more than happy to answer those for you. You need 40 quarters of coverage. In 2021, it's $1,470. If you make $1,470 bucks, you get a quarter of coverage. It's the minimum quarter of coverage, but you get it. You need 4 of those in a working year, and if you get 4, you get 4 quarterly credits. If you just have one credit, then you get 4. But you don't have to earn them in each one of the quarters. If you earn $5,880, 1470 times 4, you're going to get 4 quarterly credits that year. Then they look at the earnings over your working career. So they need 40 quarters of coverage. That's 10 years of working. Earnings over your working career. The earlier you take, the lesser the benefit. The longer you wait, the bigger the benefit, up to the age of 70. They take your 35 highest inflation adjusted years. And cost of living, been around since 1975. We've had a cost of living raise every year except for three, 2010, 11, and 16. There was no cost of living raises. This year, 5.9%, highest in 39 years, since 1983. Don't you love that dog? I do. Full retirement age. If you're born from 1943 to 1954, full retirement age is 66. If you're born in 1955, like I was, my full retirement age is 66 years and 2 months. That's when you get the full benefit. Stair steps up 2 months to 1960 or later. Full retirement age is 67. A newborn today, full retirement age for Social Security, 1967. If you're 66 and you take it 62, there's a 25% discount. If your full retirement age is 67, it's a 30% discount. You get discounted if you take earlier than full retirement age. It grows a guaranteed 8% if you wait later, a year later than full retirement age. Get a load of this. If you grow next year for a year in your past full retirement age, and it grows 8%, and then you throw on the 5.9% cost of living, that's for every benefit. That's 13.9. If you got a $3,000 benefit, do you know that that's going to grow $417 this year, like a mini pension? Incredible. Okay, any questions? Type them on in. Well, I'll see if I can. There we go. So I'm a believer that if you know the individual benefit, spousal benefit, divorce spousal benefit, survivor benefit, and the restricted application benefit. If you know those benefits, you're cooking. Those 5 benefits, you'll know 90% of all the questions that are thrown at you. Now, I'm not going to go down every bunny hole on this. I'm going to just tell you the basics of how it works. There are certain hurdles. There's certain things that you need to know that we go into depth if we coach. So Social Security spousal benefits, first of all, you don't have to ask for it. It's done automatically. PIA, Dave's PIA, that stands for primary insurance amount. That's the amount at Dave's full retirement age, which is our hypothetical illustration here. Dave's benefit amount is $2,400. Amy's PIA benefit amount is $1,000. Dave takes his. He gets $2,400. Amy takes hers. Amy's got options. She can take all of hers or half of Dave's, whichever is higher. What's higher? Half a Dave's. And the way Social Security shows us on the report, she gets $1,000 of her own benefit and $1,200 of a spousal top up. That's the basics of Social Security spousal benefits. Divorce spousal benefits, you have to ask for this if you don't get it. It's biblical. If you don't ask, you don't receive. So remember those 4 things I said that if you get 2 of them right, I'll give you the answer. Well, here's the 4 things. First of all, if you're divorced, to get a spousal benefit from your ex, the last 10 continuous years or longer, the spouse requesting has to be unmarried, not the ex, but requesting, getting the benefit. Ex is at least 62, and the divorce was at least 2 years ago or before. If those stars and moons line up, you can take your ex just as if you're still married to them. Why is that important? Married couples have more options many times than a single person. Okay? Divorce spouse. It's left on the table a lot. How about survivor benefit? My wife always says nobody gets out of here alive physically. It might be spiritually, but not physically. We all die. Our heart stops. We're dead as a doornail. It's going to happen. It's a matter of when. Who normally dies first, the guy or the gal? The guy does. It's not fair, but about 75% of the time. So let's say it's Dave and Amy. Dave's benefits $2,000. Amy's benefits $1,200. Dave dies first. Amy has the option, which has to be requested, by the way. She can keep her $1,200 benefit and lose Dave's, or she can $1,200 benefit and take Dave's. Well, what's she going to do? She'll drop hers and takes Dave. It gives her an extra $800 per month, in your hip pocket. And also, it gets a little more complicated, but she can go in and they're still available for file and suspend, which has been phased out, but to work with survivors' benefits. So she could go in and take at a discounted rate, even as early as 60. She could take it; it's 28.5% discounted, but she could take that benefit from Dave, and she could let her benefit grow. And if we figure out that her benefit will be bigger than Dave's, it's worthwhile. Yeah. And then she gets all of her bigger benefit. So it really works well when you got similar kind of benefits. That's a survivor benefit. Has to be requested. Coordinating spousal benefits gets complicated. This is the one where the person asking has to be born January 2nd or earlier of 1954. Not the spouse, but the person requesting. In this scenario, Dave's primary insurance amount is $2,400. Amy's is $1,000. Amy has to take hers. Then Dave is going to delay his. But if he restricts it, he can still earn the 8% and turn it on later as late as 70. But he goes out and reaches and gets a spousal benefit through coordinating a restricted application. That $500 he gets a month, free money. Free money. They'll never tell you that you can get it, but you can if you're under this scenario. $6,000 a year, $12,000 in 2 years, $18,000 in 3 years. A big, big deal. Social Security, remember, they can't give advice. They can only give your highest benefit right now. That coordinating spousal benefit, less than 1% of all Americans who it would help in benefit use it. Why? They don't know about it. That's what we can do. We can help people know about it. What Social Security personnel can and cannot do, they can give your highest estimate benefit now. They can't give advice. They cannot give advice. We do. They can't. It comes right from the program operational manual systems that employees of Social Security use. Look at D. Provide enough information so that claimants can make informed choices, but do not give advice. To find out when you need to take your Social Security, you just don't need to know, what your full retirement age numbers are, or what your age or birth date. But you really need to find out what their health is like, what their health family's history DNA is like, what their income is like, what their investable assets are like, what their life expectancy is like, what their expenses are like. Or is the Social Security Administration going to ask those? Of course not. Of course not. We do. They don't. So it says consider all your income streams before you take. Yeah, it's not a standalone income stream. I believe Social Security is the most flexible of all income streams. I tout that claiming at your right time, not the right time or a right time, is so important. And if you're looking at break even, don't ever forget about the survivor benefit. That survivor benefit, like my mother's 98 years old. She's been on my dad's survivor benefit for 16 years. Remember that 5 pillars of income? Wages, pensions, income-producing assets like 401ks, IRAs, bank accounts, cash values, land, all of those things. Brokerage accounts, required minimum distributions, RMDs on your traditional. This is my check sheet. I get all the information off this sheet. And you know what? I'll tell you right now. When I do my fact finding, I'm finding an asset or a partial of an asset that I can work with. Absolutely. Just a lot to understand when to claim your benefit. There's all kinds of benefits, aren't there? All kinds of things to consider before you want to claim. So remember, there's 3 ways. Seminar Social Security, $2,500, guaranteed 35 registrants. I'll tell you what, it's pretty neat. We went on a minimum of 11. Just had a fellow had 17 of them up in the Northeast. I got 11 last week. Yeah, we coach you up. I'm not in your hierarchy. I get stipend by IAMS out of their pocket, not out of yours. I'm there to help you. There
And
to
Dave,
help
you're
you.
talking about 11 appointments, 17
Yeah.
appointments. Is that
Yeah.
okay?
Those were off of the Social Security seminar, Steve. I'm just saying with some of the people I did and some of the guys
Mhm.
that were coaching that use the system. Yeah, $2,500. One of the very few systems you'll ever get a guarantee of anything that's under $4,000, and we know that from this competition. Retirement Boss Radio, being your own radio host. I want 10 appointments minimum, and normally the cost of that's $3,000 to $4,000 all in a month. You're on the radio for an hour every week. It's a turnkey and it's recorded, or just 4 coaching sessions for $800 a la carte. I mean, we're trying to get you coached up because we know there's going to be more doubt and more production if you really understand Social Security. There's no alliance. As procrastination is my sin, it brings me constant sorrow. I really shouldn't practice it. Perhaps I'll stop. Tomorrow never comes. Tomorrow never comes for a procrastinator. In my 40 years, I've never had one person come to me and say, Dave, you cannot believe of how rich I got out of procrastinating. Doesn't happen. If you heard something today that you like, Steve's going to put up, and it's a poll, and it's whether you'd like to go in and what we went through today and that basically half an hour of my part. Um, we go into much more in depth when we coach. You get 25 attachments from me. There's kind of a book you buy. It's about $20. It's the Bible of Social Security. I used to do 3 books. That's the Bible. And you'll get that and you'll read that. I read it every year. Every January, I read that book. Every January, cover to cover. I always pick up something new. And I know quite a bit about Social Security claiming, but I pick up something new. You read that same book and use it as a resource, as a guide for yourself. But if you mark yes, you'll be getting a call later today. Most of the people that come to those webinars, I mean, they do mark yes, and the reason is because if they don't know Social Security, they really deep down want to. They just don't know how. Here we're giving you 3 chances. 2 have marketing elements. 1 is just a la carte coaching. But not very often do you get an FMO that has a coach on board. I don't do this for anybody else. I do it only for IAMS. I'm a full-time advisor, just like everybody out there. I show insurance products and I show also some securities. I've done it for 40 plus years. And I just know what Social Security has done to my practice in the last 10 years. It has really skyrocketed it. So if you mark yes, we'll give you a quick call, find out when the time for you and myself. We'll talk for 20, 25 minutes, see if there's something I can help you from with Social Security and maybe from the marketing side. Steve, I want to turn this over to you, see if we have any questions, and then we'll kind of button this up.
Thanks, Dave. Great job. I know at the end there when you were talking about 3 options, we moved through that pretty quick. So just to clarify a little bit, if you just want Social Security coaching by itself through Lazarus Coaching, that's $800. If you decide that you want to do a radio show, then effectively the coaching is done at no cost. So the cost really is what the radio cost is for your area. If you say, hey, I want to do Social Security claiming seminars, again, the coaching is at no cost. You pay $2,500, and that the question was, what's my second seminar cost? It's always going to be, unless inflation catches up with us, Dave. It's
Yeah,
always
that's
going
right.
to be.
Which is it's catching up now, isn't it?
Oh my goodness, my goodness. But it's 2,500 for 35 registrants. And that also includes your coaching. Each of those 3 options also would include ongoing access to Dave. Dave enjoys working with the guys in his coaching groups and enjoys helping them, and of course learns something new from every question that he gets from the field. So he really enjoys the opportunity to not only do the coaching but to be your ongoing resource. I can count the number of times over the last 4 or 5 years on probably two fingers where Dave has not known the answer off the cuff and had to get something checked. So his expertise on Social Security is very, very high, and he's always going to be there for you for a resource to answer any questions. Bottom line is that he just went through the top 4 or 5 today that, as he mentioned, is going to be most of the questions that arise. Radio, so radio in your area, Tom, just that's something that would have to be checked area by area. So Dave mentioned the number of like 4,000. It's going to depend a little bit on where you're from. Sometimes it's cheaper, sometimes it's more. We've got a guy in LA that is more, obviously it's a bigger listenership, and so the radio time costs more. They've talked about radio, and the question is, how do I get appointments from radio? So you may just want to take a second and walk through how you do that.
Yeah, I've done radio for over 30 years, and I had a radio show called Your Money Matters for 11 years live, 7:15 in the morning to 8 o'clock on Saturday morning. And it was a live show. My goal there wasn't to get appointments. My truly wasn't really to get business. My goal was to get well known in that community. And it worked pretty amazingly. Did I get business from it? Yes. But I didn't have a big close at the end. If you do this, you're going to get this, you're going to get this. Retirement Boss Radio is set up to close appointments. And those appointments, they come to a live, high-touch, inbound call center. They're very good. And they just say, hey, thank you very much for calling Dave Pimper, the Retirement Boss Radio. Let's get you on Dave's calendar. Boom, boom. Get me on the calendar. Get an appointment. Out of 10 appointments I have, 9 of them are face-to-face. One will be either Zoom or by telephone. Now again, we're in a state where we're not in a shelter state. I was just talking to someone from Oregon, a little different out there, so maybe you have more Zoom. I just talked to someone that was up in Connecticut. Maybe you'll have more Zoom. But what happens is that you're getting appointments, and appointments are money. Absolutely, there's no question about it. The more appointments you have, the more money that you're going to get, and that's a turnkey system. So what happens is on that turnkey system, what's going to happen is you're going to go on in and you're going to absolutely have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. I'm going to walk you through that turnkey system. It looks complicated, and I use the analogy. I remember when I was a little bitty kid, we lived in Howells, Nebraska, a town of 650 people. My grandpa was a car dealer. My dad worked for him, and my mom would like make a pie, and she would put it right above the kitchen sink with the window open, and you could smell it outside. It just smelled great. But I remember her watching her make that pie. I could not believe all the ingredients. She made it from scratch. There wasn't Betty Crocker back then. She made it from scratch, and you know what? I couldn't believe, but the end result was great. And that's how Retirement Boss Radio is. There's a lot of moving parts to get it all together, but after the production company takes it and the recording is done and it's coached by myself, the end product is great. If you go to www.retirementbossradio.com, www.retirementbossradio.com, you can go in and listen to 30-minute podcasts of the exact shows that I do. We keep those updated week to week to week, and you'll sound pretty similar to that. And Steve, that's the truth, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's one thing that people get intimidated by is they're like, I don't think I can do radio. Well, you can. Dave would tell you that he's had to redo a whole show because he didn't like it. He's had to, he always, takes stuff and says, let's throw that out. Let's redo it because it is recorded. It appears live, obviously, when people hear it on the radio, but it is recorded so you can, make yourself sound just the way that you want to. Plus, Steve, the guy, the Ed McMahon, or the kind of the sidekick, kind of keeps you
on color guy, yeah.
Color guy, yeah. He's pretty good, and obviously you've got not a script, but it's show notes that you're working from, so that you can still sound a little bit off the cuff, but have talking points that you're going to hit. And Social Security is a big part of that. That's why we're talking about the Retirement Boss Radio. Probably, would you say, Dave, from your radio shows, maybe 25% of the appointments are based on people looking for information on Social Security?
At least. I'll tell you, Social Security, think about it, 95% of the people get Social Security. And I do say on the show, hey, it doesn't make a difference. I mean, it isn't that if you don't have money, that's fine. Come on in. Because there's people that have 400,000. There's radio hosts, one in particular, and you know who he is. He will not work with you unless you have 750,000. Mm-hmm. I can't tell you, Steve, of what a great referral source he is. Well, I went to that guy and he wouldn't work with me. I got 400,000. Will you take an account that small? You darn right I will. I don't have
Yep.
minimums.
Right.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Social Security is a not many advisors know the ones that know Social Security and they use it correctly. It's a gold mine, and that's why we want to teach it, because we know how does IAMS make their money when production is ran through them. That's how they make money. The insurance companies, they don't market themselves. They go through FMOs like IAMS, and you know what? Why do we promote radio and seminars? Because people that do those consistently usually make a lot more money, and everybody's a happy camper.
Yep. Yep. And from my standpoint, whether you're doing the Social Security seminars or doing Retirement Boss Radio, I mean, they're consistent sources of new clientele that our producers are getting. And when our guys and gals, they're experienced people, when they have opportunity to have these conversations with people, it is going to, for the benefit of their client, there's going to be business that's going to get done. And that's the key. That's what we're about here at IAMS, is making sure that you've got the resources you need to be successful and putting them out there for you. That's our goal. And if we can help you at each step of that with something like radio that on the surface appears very complicated, but we can make it very simple and have the people in place, from the media buyer to the production company to the sidekick and then to Dave to do the coaching, to make it very, very simple for you. And next thing you know, you're walking down the street and somebody's saying, "Hey, Ron, I heard you on the radio. You must be somebody." Builds a lot of credibility for you in your area. Dave is living proof of that. He's become, in this area, kind of a recognized expert, and certainly a recognized expert around Social Security claiming. And there's so many people going into that niche.
Hey, Steve,
That
can
time
I
frame.
say something
Yes, sir.
real quick?
Of
We had
course.
it's a pig roast that we had years ago. It was a big, when we were in college, not now, but it was a big Kager pig roast way back when. Had it for 5 years in a row. I helped kind of put that on for 4 of the years. It's in Blair. The mom and dad have died, tore the house down, but when the sons bought it and put up a nice kind of an event center, we watched the game out there. But all my fraternity brothers and their wives, and of course, we closed it up at 10:10. At 10 o'clock at night. That's how it's pretty pitiful, but that's what we did because we're old people. But we went on a hayrack ride and we took this little 4-wheeler around. And anyway, I had 3 different women that came up and said, "Gosh, we hear you on radio all the time." And those 3 were all turning, unbelievably, they were turning 65. And so Sam got 3 great leads that day. And Sam said, "I guess a lot of people do listen to that show." And so that's
couldn't be
pretty
more
cool.
surprised.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. That happened to be all around Medicare, but what happens is they're not ready to take their social yet. But one of the gals asked about that too. She had a Social Security question for me. But just get that doesn't guarantee you money, but you know what? Enough appointments virtually guarantees you more money in your pocket.
You bet. Well, we've had the poll's still up, Dave, and we've had all but a couple people have voted. So I don't know if there's a technical. If you're unable to vote, let me know if you want to set up an appointment with Dave. I'll be glad to get that set up for you. If you are able to vote, don't worry about putting no. We don't hold that against you. Maybe today it's a no, and next week it's a yes. It's just part of having the timing right and being good for your business at the right time. Know that either way, we're here to help you at every step, whether you just want to learn about Social Security, whether you want to maybe look at doing some seminars, which are very entry level. If you've never done seminars before, Social Security claiming seminars are the easiest and best ways to get started. We've seen that, and only know it because guys have told us that again and again and again. It's very teacher-student type of setup. There's no questions. There's, you've got a pretty good script that you're running from, and you can do that and be in and out of a Social Security seminar in probably an hour and 20 minutes, hour and 15, 20 minutes at a library. There's no cost. There's no food, and you're going to have probably about a third of the people in that room are going to make an appointment with you, and that's a good thing because you're going to be talking to them about their retirement savings. So if that's of interest to you, hit yes. If just learning about Social Security is interest, hit yes. If you want to learn more about Retirement Boss Radio and how that works with Social Security, hit yes. If not, hit no. No issue with that. 2 more questions, Dave. So you better talk about seminars for just a minute, only because we've got 6 or 7 questions here that really kind of revolve around what do you recommend. I've had issues converting appointments to sales, which we get that question that comes up a lot, and just how can you help with seminars? So you better just talk about what you do in the seminar arena really quick and where you
Yeah.
do them, the slideshow and the training that goes with that.
Yeah, I put together a Social Security seminar. IAMS did all the creative work to it. It's 44 slides, and it's very good. It talks about the basics of Social Security. It's a 45-minute to an hour presentation. Um, People are very curious about Social Security, and the marketer that we have, we do the majority of it through Facebook marketing, and I never was a big fan of that until about 3 years ago, and that's virtually all we've used. It's very interesting. You do get a few more women than you do men. I think more women are on social media than what men are, but my, I mean, I'll tell you what, women control a lot of money in this world, I'll assure you, and they usually have maybe even a better mind when it comes to the ins and outs of the different kind of claiming techniques and so forth. It's been kind of a joy working. We certainly do get couples in and we get guys in, but there's a lot of women that come by themselves and they take charge and they make the decisions. So it is a turnkey system. I give 3 Social Security claiming um, uh, coaching sessions. IAMS pays me to do that. It doesn't come out of your pocket. The cost is $2,500. You're guaranteed 35 registrants, signups, guaranteed. You don't see that too often, and we may raise that because the cost of Facebook marketing is getting more than what it was here in the past. They put
Mhm.
some restraints in and some more cost in. So, but we're still on, Steve, right? We're still honoring the 2,500.
Yep.
Yeah, so 2,500 as of right now. And I'll tell you right now, if you there are some people that have enough appointments or they have enough money coming in, but I will tell you, it's when you're sitting down. Like last week, I have 11 Social Security uh, seminar attendees that marked yes. That we set up appointments with every one of them. They actually at the seminar itself, and I had 5 that signed up from the 1 week of Retirement Boss Radio. So I got 17 appointments last week. Sam got 4 from his Medicare. That's our shop got 21 set appointments last week. Well, I won't tell you what,
Crazy.
unless you're really, 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 really terrible, you're just going to fall into some business there. And Sam closed 3 deals yesterday. 3 deals. He had 3 apps that he closed in AEP, and he's off to a real good start. From the very beginning, he's written every single day with AEP. You know what? It's getting in front of people. If you want to get in front of more people, Mark, yes, I'm going to help you do just that.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, but that's not what you would normally expect in terms of radio or seminars in terms of appointments. But you probably over the course of a month, if you were doing just radio, you'd probably expect 12 to 18
Yeah, 10 over
appointments.
10. I had a really great week, but you know what? You're wrong though, Steve. 11. I was hoping I would get more than that.
Mhm.
My Social Security workshop that I did before that, I got 16, but I got 11. That is what I expect to get from a Social Security workshop, and I do 2 workshops off of 1 campaign, so I do
Oh, sure.
expect that. The 5 is a little high, but you know what? I'm just bragging about it. It's just kind of fun to do that.
That's a darn good week. Well, that's good news. We just had one person that hasn't voted, so
Okay.
I'm going to close that poll out. I think we've answered. Just let me double check here, David, make sure that we've answered every question and every chat message that's come up, and we have. So I just finish off by saying thank you for taking some time out. It's Tuesday, and we're right in the heart of probably the biggest selling month of the year, and you're sitting here learning more about Social Security and how you can grow your business. We put a lot of credence in that and value that a lot. So we appreciate you joining us here today. Thank you, Dave, too. I know with the appointments you've got stacking up, that taking an hour out of your day means a lot to us as well. So we appreciate your attendance. As I always say here at IAMS, we're about helping producers grow their business, and Dave has consistently been a big part of that for years and years now. It seems longer than 15 years to me, but time always flies fast for me. So great association to have Dave as part of the group and helping our guys and gals to grow their business. We appreciate that, Dave. Take advantage of us. Take advantage of IAMS and what we can do to grow your business. It's we do what we do here and help you in the way that we help you because it's good for our business. If it's good for your business, that's good for our business. So let us help you when we can. If you need anything, reach us at 800-255-5055. Ask for myself, Steve Murray. I'm here every day, or your sales director, and we will answer your question. We have a 2-ring guarantee. So what that means is that somebody's going to answer the phone within a couple rings and get your question either to the right person or answer it right there on the line. So we appreciate we value your time, and that's a big part of that is answering your questions quickly. Thank you for joining us today. Have a great finish to your sales week, and let us know how we can help you. Dave, is there anything you want to say as we close up?
Nope. Just have a very productive week. I appreciate everybody being on the line and looking forward to speaking with everybody. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.